Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim, a fairly average mum, and today I've got a bit of a story time for you, telling you what happened to me on Saturday. Okay, so let's get cracking. Hiya, hope you're all okay. I've been better if I'm honest. Okay. I'm sorry I haven't got any makeup on or anything, and my hair's really frizzy, but I'm one-handed. Okay, I've only got my right hand working. Okay, so I've quite badly broken my left hand, so my left arm, sorry. My humerus, so this bone at the top of your arm, is basically in two at this point. So yeah, it were a bit of a nightmare on Saturday, so I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so I was going into Bradford on the bus. So I left the house and went for the bus, and there were like loads of red flags. Don't do this journey, Kim, don't do this journey. First, the little thing that's up in the bus stop that tells you, you know, when the next bus is coming, that was sort of broken, and it didn't actually have times on it. It just said one bus is coming at 6 in the morning, and then there's another bus coming in 54 minutes. But anyway, I continued to wait. There's red flag number one. Red flag number two, I get on the bus, and the only seats available that weren't sitting next to somebody else, and I had 2 bags with me because I was taking things back. So I didn't want to sit next to somebody else with all these bags on my knee and things. Was sitting, so the only seat, we're on one of those 3 seats near the front that you can put up if somebody with a pram comes and sits down. And the whole time as people were getting on and off the bus, I kept looking down the bus to see if I could see another seat to sit on. But I couldn't, because each person that were getting up, somebody else were immediately sitting down in that seat. So I'd have still ended up in the same position of sitting next to somebody with all my bags. So I carried on sitting there, and then I were on the bus with a lad that I'd gone to school with but didn't realise it were him. I say a lad, he's not a lad, a man that I'd gone to school with. Anyway, he got up halfway between where I live and Bradford and got off, and he was sitting directly behind the driver on a single seat. So I got up and sat there. It meant I could put my bags sort of next to me in the little rack thing. Anyway, well, that were fine. We were on my way into Bradford and what have you. And I've got this really nice day planned. I'd planned to go take back the stuff that I needed to take back. I wanted to go to Next. I wanted to have another look in M&S. And I was going to go get myself a nice coffee and something for my lunch. So that was my plan. So anyway, I get up. It's getting near to my bus stop. And you sort of go up Hamstrasse in Bradford, which is where it is. And then you turn left at the top of that to come back down through Bradford. And it's directly after that is my bus stop. So it rounded the corner and the guy started speeding up. Now there's another set of lights by John Street where you can turn left to go onto John Street, or straight down, which is the way we were supposed to be going on the bus, straight down. But the bus driver is going super fast, and there's this little white car in front of us. I know this, I'm standing up, holding the pole now with my bags in my left hand, and I'm holding the pole with my right hand, watching this unfold. Now he's going too fast, and this car indicates to go left along, goodness me, along John Street, and there's not enough gap for him, so he slammed all on. So I managed to carry on holding on to the pole with my right hand, but I'm being swung forward. But other people behind me, I don't realise what's happening behind me. All I'm looking at is this car in front of us, and for a split second I'm thinking, are we going to whip the car? He slams all on, and then all of a sudden I felt this whack behind me. And it's a man who was being propelled down the bus and smacks into my left arm. Okay, my bags went flying forward. I let go of the pole and also went flying forward. I knew immediately it hit me that my arm were broken. I knew it straight away. So I went flying forward, and I'm holding on to the front of the bus near the windscreen. Thankfully, didn't go through the windscreen. And everybody has been thrown on this bus. So everybody's shouting and carrying on. I immediately feel nauseous because I knew my arm were broken quite badly. And I was saying, my arm's broken. And I started to feel like I'm going to pass out. So I went to lie on these 3 seats that I'd been sitting on previously. And a lady came and she held my head. While the bus driver carried on down and up to the bus station in Bradford, which is called the interchange. So we get to the interchange and this lady helps me to get up and I'm sitting upright and the pain in my arm were absolutely excruciating. Honestly, I've never felt pain like it. So then he went to get people from the interchange, did the bus driver, and they said to him, you've got to phone an ambulance, right? It's your deal. It happened off the premises. You've got to phone the ambulance. So this guy phones an ambulance for me. Yeah, and they managed to get me off the bus and walk me over to this area near where there's like an office in the upstairs of the interchange, and sat me down on like, it were a set of like 4 or 5 seats, these metal seats that people sit on waiting for buses and stuff. Every single time did somebody get up or sit down on those seats next to me. The pain just nearly knocked me out. They tried ringing my daughter Neve and, you know, and my other kids and what have you. Neve were at work at A&E in Leeds, right? So I'm sitting on this seat and eventually my phone's dead as well, right? Which I'd realised when I'd left the house. So I didn't actually have any charge on my phone. So eventually when this kind lady who were like a PCO, something like that, police officer, right? That works in the interchange, brought out like a swivel office chair and moved me onto that. She put a sling on me, but they said it was going to be 2 hours for an ambulance. And now I'd have gone and walked to get into a taxi if I could have walked anymore, but the pain was so bad, I literally couldn't walk without, I mean, even just sitting, I was crying out in pain. I've never experienced out like it. Honestly, I've never been in that much pain. Aside from childbirth, and then you've got medication and stuff, you've got Entonox and all that malarkey. So I've never experienced pain like it that I've just had to sit with and deal with, you know. Anyway, after 2 hours, one of the guys at the interchange phoned up again and they said there could be another hour. Thankfully, they weren't another hour, they were another half an hour. So I was sitting on this swivel chair crying out in pain. While all these people are getting on and off buses, they must have thought I'd lost the plot because I was still wearing my coat, my shirt. So all I had on were a sling. Okay. Anyway, the ambulance finally came. Oh my God, I was so relieved that it had arrived. I couldn't walk to where it was because they parked in the first bay where the bus had originally been. So they pulled the ambulance round to near to where I was. And then I managed to walk to get onto the ambulance. And I said, please, can you give me some pain relief? Now, part of my problem is I'm allergic, highly allergic to morphine. Okay, so I've been given morphine twice in my life. The first time, my hands swelled up and everything. And I was like, you know, I had like a red rash and everything. But I didn't know it was morphine that they'd given me that. Because it was one time when I were in antenatally, right, you know, that they'd given me it for some other thing that I'd got going on. I think I'd got a tear in my esophagus or something like that. Anyway, they gave me, I said, but the second time they'd given me morphine, I actually I went into anaphylactic shock and crashed. So I'm highly allergic to morphine. So when I got on this ambulance, I sat down and they said to me, they said, we're going to give you some Entonox. So that's gas and air, isn't it? So they gave me that and I'm just sucking on that. And I had to say to them, I'm really allergic to morphine. You can't inject me with morphine. I'm really allergic. So anyway, they realised that I didn't have anything else to stop the pain. They took my coat off and even lifting my right arm caused so much pain in my left arm I nearly passed out. So at the finish they had to cut my shirt off to have a look at my arm. all the time I'm sucking on Entonox like it's going out of fashion. I actually drained one of the bottles they had. They had to hook up the second bottle for me, right? I'm just like, every so often having to take it out to cry out in pain. That's how much pain I was in anyway. And by this time, and my daughter has got in touch, because the police officer had got in touch with my daughter. She'd phoned back, so she'd phoned me and said, because they charged up my phone a bit in the interchange. After telling me, well, yeah, we're not really supposed to charge up phones, I thought, well, if it's not now that you can charge up a phone for somebody, what occasion would you? You know what I mean? But anyway, they did eventually charge up my phone a bit. So my daughter phoned me and said that she was going to come over. She got out of work, said to me that she was going to come over, either meet me at the interchange or she'd see me up at the BRI, the Bradford Royal Infirmary, okay, which is where they were planning on taking me. So when I get onto this ambulance, I already know that our Evie is on her way to me, but it's going to take her a bit of time because she'd left her car at home and gone to work on the train, okay. So, yeah, so I'm in the ambulance and I completely lost all track of time at this point. And apparently I was there in the ambulance for an hour because the pain was so bad in my arm. They didn't want to move me before they'd given me something for the pain that were a bit more substantial than Entonox. But they were sort of able to give it. So they had to wait for this other guy who were like trained in that to drive to where the ambulance were at the interchange. And they gave me something called ketamine. Is it? I don't know. It's the worst thing I've ever been given in my life. It worked in so much as I couldn't really tell you what happened after they gave it to me. Other than it felt like I were reliving the same 3 seconds of my life over and over and over again. I genuinely thought that I'd died and that I'd gone to hell and hell was going to be me reliving these 3 seconds for eternity. That's how I felt. Anyway, at first they thought I dislocated my elbow when I were on the ambulance, and then they realised they hadn't. So they moved my arm into this makeshift frame thing that they got, and took me up to the BRI. And I got seen more or less straight away. I got sent down for an x-ray, and they realised that I'd got a spiral fracture to my humerus. So basically, it were in 2 pieces. So, and quite badly broken. So we then Neve arrived. Neve arrived when I got up to the BRI. As soon as I arrived, she arrived. I was just so happy to see her little face, honestly. 1, because she's a nurse, and 2, because, you know, she's my daughter and I absolutely adore her. So, like, I was just so happy. 1, to see a friendly face, and 2, to see somebody that knew something about what were happening, because I was, like, in and out of consciousness at this point. Anyway, they took me down, x-rayed me, realised what was going on. So then spent time trying to get my pain under control because they couldn't give me morphine. So they're working out different ways of getting me pain free. And then eventually they decided that they were going to have to pot it for the time being. I don't know if I'm going to end up having to have an operation on it. I honestly don't know. I think they're waiting to see when I go back to the fracture clinic whether it's healing or not. And then based on what they, you know, what they find, then they'll make a decision. But then they had to they wheeled me through because they had to pot it. I mean, it happened at 1:45 at lunchtime, 1:45. And we actually left the hospital about 1:30 in the morning. So I'm shortening the story that were a whole day, sort of 12-hour thing. But anyway, they took me through and they had to give me more of that stuff that I absolutely hated, that drug. It really, really made me feel, you know, just awful, like I were in any number of places. At one point, I thought this YouTuber called Mia Maple, who's Canadian, had come to fix my arm. Right, I was just not on this earth. I really wasn't. But anyway, they managed to get me potted. So I've now got a massive pot sort of from here down my arm, holding it in place, and I've got this thing holding it, my hands up. The other thing is it's slightly affected my nerves so that my left hand's not really working. Hence why I have no makeup on now to straighten my hair properly. But yeah, they managed to get it potted. They gave me some stuff to get my pain under control, and they discharged me. So I went to our Neves and her boyfriend's that night. God love him, honestly. And then the next day, I wanted to come home, so Neve drove me over here, opened loads of tins for me so that I poured things into plastic tubs, so I didn't have to, because I can't open the tin with this arm on its own. I can't use the tin opener because I can't use my other hand. So she did a load of stuff like that, tidied around, tore loads of bits of toilet paper off into 3 square sections because I'm struggling with toilet paper. Because in all honesty, anything that I have to pull, even with my right hand, causes me left hand to hurt. And I don't know why that is. You know, I've got no idea, but it does. And I literally cannot pull anything with my left hand at all. But my pain's more or less under control. I'm on quite strong painkillers. So if I look slightly still spacey, you'll understand why. 1, because they gave me so many things in the hospital, and 2, because now I'm on quite strong painkillers in order to keep my pain under control. And when they start to run out, so by the 3-hour mark, the pain starts to come back again. And by the 4-hour mark, it's really painful again. Nothing compared to Saturday, absolutely nothing compared to Saturday, but it is quite painful again. So I'm aware that I do need to keep taking my meds, if you see what I mean, in order to keep the pain away. The whole of yesterday, I just slept, absolutely slept away yesterday and last night, but got up this morning feeling actually really okay, you know. On Saturday, I was just cursing, why did you leave the house? Why did you get on the bus? Why did you do this? But since then, I've started realising that actually it could have been so much worse. It really could have been so much worse. Yeah, I'm just thankful that with my left arm that took the brunt of this guy falling onto it, well, falling into it, because he just whacked it and then face planted and then had to turn over and stuff on the floor. He was so apologetic as well. He actually got off the bus before the bus station and then walked up to the bus station, found us, and then he was saying to me, I'm so sorry, love, I'm so sorry. And I had to, between crying out in pain, I'm like, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it was the bus driver, you know, please, it's not your fault. Anyway, right, turns out he's got metal plates in his face. So that poor guy took the brunt on his plates in his face, but also my arm took the brunt of these metal plates in his face as well. My son said it was like some supervillain that had come to get me, you know, but the poor guy, I felt so bad for him as well because he felt so responsible. The bus driver didn't. The bus driver, once we were all off the bus, off he went. Off he went with his bus, right? Didn't even give us a backward glance. No apologies, no nothing. He just drove off, right? I was furious about that when I thought about it afterwards. But I did think afterwards it could have been so much worse. If it hadn't been my arm, what if it had been my back or my leg? Or even my right arm, because I'm right-handed, do you know what I mean? So thankfully it is just me, for all it's a bad fracture, you know, if at least it's my left arm and not anything worse than that. So I'm actually relieved and not feeling sort of maudlin about it. I'm not feeling like depressed or anything. I'm just trying to do things as I can. So my plan today was to get up. I wasn't even planning to film this. My plan today, I'm filming this, what day are we on? Monday, Easter Monday, I think. Yeah, it's Monday today. My plan today was just to try and get in the shower. So I've rigged up this thing with a bin bag, okay? So I've got these bin bags that I got all on bargains. I cut an hole in the top part of one of them, pulled it over my head and down over my body. So it was sort of formed a cape over the pot on my arm, because the pot's quite big. It formed a cape and kept that dry. And I managed to get in the shower and get washed. I haven't managed to do my hair or anything like that yet. But did manage to get a proper wash, including this armpit, which was the bit I was really worried about, because I thought lifting this arm is, you know, is very painful. But I managed to slot my hand underneath with soap and managed to wash my armpit. Then got out of the shower and managed to get myself dressed, which I was stunned about as well, including putting a bra on, which I now have to do by fastening it first and then stepping into it and pulling it up. And this thing that's around my neck that's holding my hand up, I'll briefly show you, hang on, if I can get up. Right, so this is it, right? So this is all put here, all the way up here. And then this thing is holding my hand up. This hand don't work properly at the moment. But yeah, I have to take this off in order to get things over my shoulder and what have you. And I'm working out how to do that without letting my hand drop, because it's not, the nerves aren't strong enough to keep my hand up. So as soon as this comes off it drops. So I have to do everything sitting down so that my leg can keep my hand up when this strap's off it. But I've managed to get dressed. I went out, I bought myself a coffee. Here's the cup, right? Yeah, and then came back again just to get out and get some fresh air. And because I'm absolutely determined it's not going to keep me in the house. You know, it might be a bad fracture, but, you know, it's not the end of the world and I can still get out. And on Saturday, I wouldn't have thought that I would even be pain-free at all, even for 5 minutes. So today, being able to do that, and then I took washing off my clothes there that I had put on Saturday morning, meaning to take it all off on Saturday evening, but obviously I wasn't here, I was in hospital. So yeah, so I've managed to do quite a lot of things. So I thought I'd bob on and let you know what's happening with it. I fully intend to keep up with my channel. And I was saying to my daughter about what my hair's going to be like, you know, because I can wash it one-handed, but then I can blow dry it, but I can't use a brush at the same time because my left hand won't work. And in any case, I can't lift it up because my arm's broken. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to dry it and straighten it. So I think what I'm going to be doing is going to hairdressers once a week and getting my hair like washed and blow dried, so that I don't have it to deal with during this time. It's going to cost me a little bit of money, but since I'm not doing anything else at the moment, apart from recovering, I think it's worth the cost, so that I can at least have my hair done, you know, and not have to worry about all that malarkey, washing it, drying it, you know, straightening it, all that. So I think I'm just going to book in once a week to have my hair sort of washed and blow dried and straightened. And I fully intend to go back to work as well. I've booked a few days off. So I'm due back on Thursday, but I'm going to have a little walk along tomorrow when they're open again, because we're closed today, obviously because it's Easter. But we're open again tomorrow, so I'm going to walk along and let the owner know what's happened to me. You know, it wasn't like I were skydiving or anything. I was literally standing on a bus. I didn't expect this to happen. But anyway, let her know what's happened and hope that they can set something up, make some adjustments so that I can go back to work. You know, because I think the last thing I need at this point is just sitting in the house, dwelling on it. I really need to get back on with my life. Wherever possible, until it's healed, and I will carry on with my channel. You know, I've got some stuff that I bought at Everything £5 and a load of stuff that I bought at charity shops already in the house, so I'm going to film those videos. I'm not going to do it today. This is as much as I can manage today after all my achievements, but yeah, I'm going to try and get myself ready tomorrow, go along to work, come back, and then try and film some more videos. The try-ons might be quite limited because it's going to be a bit of a chore getting anything over this arm. It takes me quite a long time, but I will do my level best to keep this channel up and running while I've got this fracture, you know. It's a bit of a nightmare, really. I wasn't expecting it, but like I say, it could have been much, much worse, and I'm just very, very fortunate that, you know, it wasn't a whole lot worse. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know what was going on. So if you see me swinging this pot around periodically, it'll just have to be like this till my arm's healed, or until I've had a knock to try and put it back together again. So I foresee I'll be in this for at least a couple of months, possibly more, while my arm sort of recovers. But it won't stop me making content. So tomorrow I might even attempt to put some makeup on one-handed. I'm gonna have to stand up and do it standing up next to the mirror, because I won't be able to hold the mirror at the same time. But I will attempt to do that and keep my channel up and going during this bizarre period of my life, you know. But anyway, that's everything for today. If you've liked this video, please give us a like. It really helps us out. And if you like this kind of content, you might want to consider subscribing. I've left all my contact details in the description box just in case you want to contact me for any reason. But thank you very much for taking a few moments out of your day to spend with me. Bye!